All right, so as I've already said, we're going to start with the DM James, sir. And this is a plural when I say this in case the S doesn't come through here. Which RPG systems do you find best capture the spirit of science fiction, and why do you feel that?
I think that Traveler and Star Frontiers best capture the feeling of science fiction.
Okay.
Because of how easy they are. I mean, on the one hand, one says roll 2 dice and get higher than an 8. And on the other hand, one says roll percentile dice and get lower than your attribute plus skill. Both of these are such binary systems that it really makes it easy to ignore the system and focus a lot more on the actual sci-fi game.
Okay. I'll wait on that one. So, Bear, well, which RPG systems do you find best capture the spirit of science fiction, and why?
It's any system can capture the spirit of sci-fi. You just got to put the effort into it. But I think of my favorites, I would say D6, Star Wars, absolutely top shelf. And I have a never-ending fondness for Prime Directive from Amarillo Design Bureau. I will always have an absolute fondness for that system, just the way it is. Not because
what is Prime Directive specifically? Can you say that it does that? What do you really like about it in terms of a sci-fi game?
I like the fact that there's a built-in degree of success system in the tri-codes that they use, where basically every challenge is like 2, 4, 6. Minimal failure, minimal success, moderate success, complete success. And then you roll your dice and look for the one that's higher than one of those tri-codes, so you figure out which one it is. It's a weird system, but I love it because it works.
It sounds exactly like Talislanta.
Talislanta used a D20.
It does, but it still has a system that's 0 to 5, 5 to 10. 11
Okay. Yeah.
And that's
with this one, what it does is everything you do has 3 numbers. And basically, it's minimal success, and they're not always the same. Minimal success, moderate success, complete success. You roll your pool of D6s and look for where you come out. And if you get none that even add up to a minimal success, then it's a botch. And then you've really screwed the pooch.
So I'm just curious, and I'm asking because you like the face rip system, Marvel superheroes. You like do you like games with those elevated systems of success?
Yes, I think absolutely. Degrees of success and in a system can replace so many add-on rules that we see, for example, in the old venerable D20. We see endless amounts of added-on rules that basically having a degree of success system already baked in covers, and you don't have to worry about adding on extra stuff because it's there. I hate hit point pools. I can't stand hit point pools.
Oh, me too.
They're dumb. I like wounds. But once I got into the Marvel game where you can kill someone on one roll and they have a bad, shitty roll to resist it and they start dying, no matter how much health they have left, I'm like, ooh. So you can have as long as you have degrees of success, you can then have the silly little pool of hit points because it can be completely negated in a moment by a degree of success in a failed roll.
Okay.
Bruce.
I generally agree with you on the idea that any game can be good. So I'm going to ask you one more follow-up question, which is are there games that you think are better for a specific genre of sci-fi, like specific genre? And here's an example I'd like to give out there for my take on this one, which is Star Wars D6, I think is absolutely the best, hands down, no ifs, ands, or buts, for playing Star Wars in the original trilogy. But I do hesitantly agree with the folks that think that the D20 system is better if you're doing prequel trilogy. I think it handles that better. So there are some times where you can do anything in any game. There are some games that do certain things better. So what are one or two that you think that do better?
The interlock system from Martel, the Cyberpunk original 2020, even some of the red stuff, is perfect for doing gritty sci-fi. It's absolutely perfect for doing brutalistic, gritty sci-fi. In fact, I suggest, propose, and state as a matter of fact, from my opinion, it would have been a better, and it was when they had the Near Orbit book, a better gaming system to do the Expanse in than that age system that Green Ronin uses.
Okay.
And D6 does adventure. D6 does perfect adventure.
Okay. All right, Nagahide, which systems do you find best and capture the spirit of science fiction, and why do you believe that?
Sorry, I had my mute. Riffs. So for me, I agree. Any game, if you add a sci-fi element to it, can meet that requirement of being a good sci-fi game. It's on you as the game master to, I think, to make the game good in terms of the setting and if it meets the requirements of sci-fi. But in general, I would say Rifts does it, in terms of theme, right? It has
Okay.
all the aspects that I think a sci-fi world needs. AI
Which is what?
robots.
Okay.
AI robots, aliens, humans struggling to survive in a harsh world, and super science, right? Like
Now, what would you say to somebody who says, yeah, but it's
robots
missing
and
one
people.
important thing, space travel?
Phase world. There's your
Okay.
space travel. And so if you, there's a section in, I can't remember if it's Ultimate or the old one, where it talks about trying to reach outer space from Rift's Earth. And it says you can't because of one or two reasons, but then there's one sentence that says if you really want to, you can, or something to that effect, right?
Well,
So
you know,
really
Kevin's mentality
'cause
is
it's your game.
if you want to expand on it, expand on it, do
Right.
what you want to do at your table. He always has
Right.
that.
Right. So if you want to, if you're playing Rift's Earth and you've gone through all, I only have up to like 30 or 36. I think they're up to like 50 something or more. If you get through all of those and you want to go beyond, okay, well, you've found a way to get into space from Rift's Earth and you can expand your universe beyond. Right? So,
Okay.
There's my answer.
Just so everybody knows, we're at $82, so 18 more dollars, and then during segment 5 we will have the giveaway, and it's $100 giveaway today to Palladium Books and or Drive-Thru RPG, whatever the winner picks, as long as the winner's here watching at the time.
I'm gonna win.
Maybe. I know you're in the list. So, all right. We'll move on to the next question. And this one, I kind of have, I'm going to ask each one of you this question a little differently. I'm going to start with DM James again, because I can. Yeah, this one's a good for Traveler. How do you personally handle the scale of technology inherent in science fiction settings? And don't just mention the number, the T scale, but how do you handle the the way technology works?
If at all possible, in any sci-fi game I run, I try to keep the technology as far in the background as possible. I mean, it's just a thing, a tool to be used to do whatever the players are trying to do. And I'm really not interested in getting into the why fors and hows of the jump drive or whatever. So, unless a player is going to ask me some specific question, I don't really bother with it too much. I mean,
So how can players abuse the tech in your game?
They really can't. I mean, unless you know of some way in the far future to abuse an AK-47. I mean,
Well, I mean, there are more weapons than that. I mean, lasers, mass drivers, whatever else. I don't remember what all the stuff it has, but I mean, then you got weird FTL things, and then of course you have everybody who's watched Star Trek who thinks that TAC-ins or gravitons solve every situation. The point being is like, what are the for people who would be watching this who might want to run Traveler or some other game? What are some things that they should watch out for in terms of how a player could manipulate the tech against you?
I've honestly, in having read and played Traveler for decades, I've never seen it happen.
Okay.
I mean, it's like, okay, you've got a cell phone, you've got a pistol, you might have a laptop computer. I mean, honestly, I don't know. I mean, I'm not, and believe me, Max, I would love to be more helpful in these answers, but I can't answer that any other way. It's never happened.
Okay. I mean, if you haven't had the experience, I get it. No problem.
I've never even seen that.
And now I have to read a super chat because it's $20, and this does push us over the edge. Well,
there you guys are. Thanks.
So during segment 5, we'll have a giveaway. So, would you rather run soon future tech like Babylon 5? Would you rather go Alternity Tech level 7 or higher? Also, I'd love to hear you discuss the Guns of the South time travel book. We're going to answer that first question only, and I will go around the horn here because he did ask a question, is gaming related. So we'll start with James, since I'm with you right now. Would you rather run some future tech like Babylon 5 or Alternity Tech level 7 and higher?
Future tech. I think that's pretty obvious by the fact that I'm such a huge fan of Traveler 2300.
Okay.
So that's not future tech. That's literally like you're playing an ex-Marine carrying a 9mm assault rifle.
Well, I think Alternity Tech level 7 is either the high or was one of the highest. It doesn't have like 15 levels like Traveler does.
Yeah, Traveler 2300 is literally like 280 years in our future.
Okay.
So, I mean, when you play that game, it literally, discusses who makes what. You can buy a Glock in that game. That's still a thing, and it's still 9mm with a 16-round magazine or 15-round magazine. So, I mean, so you're on an alien world with basically an AK-24 or something, and I like that. I like the fact that the technology is there, but it's still really close. I prefer near future right off the bat, guys.
Sounds good. Nagahide, let's go with you. Would you rather run the near future or high tech?
Oh, that's tough.
It's kind of funny because Rifts is in the middle, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, it is. In my opinion, it's in the middle. So Rifts does have high tech, right?
Yep.
Energy guns, like shooting lasers. I'm not a fan of the shooting lasers concept because I'm a gun nerd also. So I like to take that and say, well, it's not really energy. It's super fast bolts, right? Because there's like right now somebody is trying to work on developing some sort of like handheld rail gun where it shoots like bolts through like a magnetic barrel, which to me that would be soon future tech, right? And I think I like to change the guns to use that kind of technology. I'm not a huge fan of the laser thing, although I do like it in BattleTech. So
I mean, in Traveler,
I gotcha, Bear.
But the problem is you have to carry like a belt-mounted power pack, because the problem with lasers is the energy requirements are so crazy. I mean, they're deadly as hell in the Traveler universe, but you're going to end up carrying a backpack with a cable connected to the weapon.
Well, in Battlelords of the 23rd century, you can carry a thwack'em stick. It's basically a giant baseball bat that tells you how hard you hit somebody. It's awesome. Yeah, that's for the ram python. It's for a particular species. But so, Battlelords of 23rd Century Brass bear the same question here. Is actually dark humor military sci-fi. So, 7th edition took out a lot of the dark humor, which. Well, 7th edition's woke. I'm just going to put it that way. It's woke. I had an argument even with the creator of the game who's like, well, our editor told us the same thing you did, but we disagreed. I'm like, well, that's why he's an editor and you're not. But anywho, get 6th edition Battlelords 23rd Century. Has some really good dark humor in it. If you like that style, it's stuff that if you're in the military, you just look at it and be like, okay. Bear. Right. Near future or far future, sir?
Well, I don't understand the references he made. I never played Alternity. I've never read Alternity. I have no idea anything about Alternity.
Well, Alternity is just a high. Just think of it as, in his way of saying it, traveler or whatever. It's basically near future or far future.
Depends on my mood, man. Like sometimes I want that next generation magic tech machine make me a Stradivarius, and I got a cavity. No, I don't anymore. Oh, I got cancer. Let me just beam the cancer out of me. Yay! And sometimes I like the alien. You're on take the one James was talking about earlier. You're on a star cruiser, and there's a scientist working for Weyland-Yutani who's got a sample in his case, and some terrorists attacked the cruiser, and now the sample got loose, and now we're stuck on that cruiser dealing with a xenomorph. Like that could be fun, and it's really gritty and dangerous. So it depends on the mood of what I'm in for. There's no solid yes, no, always for me on that.
Okay.
The old look in the case.
I definitely lean towards what's that?
Close.
I'm sorry, James. What was that?
I said the old look in this case and hold your face extra close.
I tend to actually like Stargate is one of my favorite science fiction series until it went off the rails a little bit, but I like it. Conceptually, it is one of my favorite. Plausible deniability. Yeah, we still can explore the galaxy. You could, as a game master in a Stargate universe, you could throw in anything you wanted. Not on Earth. You go through the gate and you come across insert Tholian here, whatever. So you could do so many different things with it. I like that conceptually, but using modern technology, modern concepts. I like, again, conceptually, I like that. So, all right, let's get back onto our actual comments. The other super chats I will get to at the end of the segment here. So we'll go up to Bear. Which one? No, I'm going to ask you the same question. How do you actually? I think I'm going to ask all three of you the same exact question. How do you handle the scale of technology inherent in science fiction settings?
I mean,
we already did this one.
Well, you said that you like both games with maybe low tech and also your crazy Star Trek stuff. So things can go off the handle. Let me just infer one of my follow-ups right now. How would you handle things like cloning, transporters, sensors, potentially solving everything?
Dude, have you watched Star Trek? Oh, the transporter went offline. Oh God, there's an ion storm. Oh God, the EPS conduit's overloaded. Oh fuck, replicative fading with the clones, and now they're going crazy and they're attacking us, etc., etc., etc. Ghost in the machine, glitch in the system. That's what you do. That's how you handle it. Make them have to rely on who they are, not on the technology.
Do you think for some players that would get old, boring, and like, why are we even on this if nothing ever works? Or
well, given the amount of people playing Star Trek, I would say no, probably not, because people who are signing on for that type of thing are signing on for exactly those types of situations. They're not signing on for, I get to do everything and there's never any problems, because if that's what you're role-playing for, don't role-play, because role-play is all about the problems. It's all about denial of the asset to see what you can do to get around the problem.
I think my only difference with you in that one is I prefer to do it in a darker setting like Death in Space or Alien or whatever. But other than that, yeah, I agree. I generally like knowing that my ship is a rust bucket. And this week, who knows what we'll have to fix, but it'll be probably what we need at some point in time. I do enjoy that.
Sure.
And then Nagahide. I'm going to give you all three the same one. I know I had alternates here, but it's going to be the same one. How do you handle the scale of technology inherent in science fiction settings? Rifts is a great example because Rifts, if you go through the freaking Splat books, juicers in the main book are not the same as juicers and juicers uprising. You all of a sudden add in Northern Gun and the robots in there just increased in power and start making. Was it Free Quebec? And you got glitter boys that are just going crazy.
Oh yeah, and they have their new book, Titan robots or something. These freaking ginormous things. So how do I manage it? Well, if the players get their hands on it, I just come up with something bigger or better. I mean, I don't. It's science fiction. If the players can imagine it, I can probably imagine something just as deadly. Or, like, if it's a combat situation, the added benefit I have is, like, for me, I have a strategic mind, right? So, if, the players end up getting this, one of them's a juicer from Juicer Uprising. Another one is one of the new glitter boys. Well, I'll just out strategize them because from my experience, most players don't think about strategy. They just point and shoot.
Yeah.
And maybe that's my players. I'm sure it's not all players.
I think in a general sense, I agree with you. Again, run some Battlers 23rd Century. They will change their tactic. They will be the most tactical people you've ever seen in a Rifts game after that. Because that game is out to kill you in a military sense. I mean, just things like, I remember one time, I was a Borg. Would we have a Borg, Mind Melter? I forget everybody that was in the group, but I only remember the Mind Melter because of how he died. But we had our group, and we didn't check for mines at all. Oh, we had a crazy. That's right. The crazy got us doing what crazies do, got us into trouble, ran in. And, what unbeknownst to me, being a big and heavy Borg, they set out mines that were pressure sensitive. So the crazy was running through, and I'm running after it. All of a sudden, kaboom, kaboom, kaboom. And I'm getting whittled down because that was his way of whittling me down. And had I just taken the time, but the damn crazy went forward, So yeah, absolutely. Use some tactics, use some different types of strategy than just, I got a gun that goes 400 meters, I roll it.
Well, like in your, you covered Rift's missiles in a video that I watched a couple weeks ago. You made it last year, but I just finally got to it.
Okay.
Like missiles, like the range on some of those and the impact. Like, okay, you're a glitter boy. Well, big deal. You're shiny. That just means my lasers don't hurt you. But boy, man, I got tons of missiles for you, buddy. Like,
and mini missiles you can't dodge. Well, was it 4 or more mini missiles or whatever it is? You can't even dodge.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, exactly. So how good is your glitter boy now? So.
Okay. Just based on the answers that you guys gave, I really can't ask any of my follow-up questions because they're just not really relevant. So I think we're going to move on to the next question. After I read the super chat, if the setting lore is rich enough, like Rifts, pretty much anything Symbiote writes, the world will handle things like this as long as the GM is flexible enough to exploit said setting lore. I hear a lot of people. Thank you for the $20 again, Law Dog. And yes, I do know about the $5 you did on Rumble. I'll get that in a bit. There are a lot of people that are intimidated by Rifts. Personally, I'm not intimidated by it. It's clown shoes to me. And I'm not saying that in the horrible, evil, I hate Rift sense. I'm just saying like it's too gonzo for me. It's just not what I'm into. But there are aspects of it that absolutely I thoroughly enjoy it. And again, more on the After Bomb side or even Heroes Unlimited side. And yeah, you could make a character that breaks everything. Well, a couple things that you need to do as a game master, and this goes back to something Bear said earlier. You need to read the lore. Well, maybe in this case, you don't have to read the lore, but this case, you have to understand what it is we're doing here. Now, whether it's the game master dictating to the players or it's the players suggesting to the game master, however you guys do it at your table, what type of adventure are you running? When RPG is Dumb ran our game, he specifically said, no magic, no psionics. Sucks to be you if you wanted that, but you're not getting it. So we ended up having a robot pilot, a wilderness scout, I forget what Heathen Dog was, and a crazy. And but by knowing that we're all basically combat oriented with a little bit of scouting, we knew the game master knew what type of adventure to run. If you're all rogue scientists, vagabonds, cyberdocs, whatever, you're going to run a completely different type of campaign. And there's literally nothing wrong with doing that. You're not breaking the game. You're not fudging the game. You're not messing with the game in any way, shape, or form, because it's meant to do all of that. You can go pure combat, a little mix, and a good game master should be able to find, and I'm saying the word find, but create, find, design, throw in challenges that could be building challenges, that could be robot challenges, that could be MDC big mega monster challenges that all of those groups can compete against. The cyberdocs, or sorry, not cyberdocs, but the rogue scholars are going to use their mind and traps and distances and computers and things like that, where the Borgs and crazies and robot pilots are going to go in there and go toe to toe with it. There's always a way that you can do it, as long as the game master understands the threat and understands the party, which he should.
Totally.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So we're going to move on to the, is that the last question? I asked what systems you find better. Yeah, that is. Okay. I guess I'm going to hit super. Do you guys have any questions, comments, concerns for each other? Anything that was said in this segment?
I agree with everybody.
I disagree with everybody, but I'm choosing peace.
And James is like, I could give or take. There we go. All right, let me hit these super chats, and then we'll move on to the last segment for tonight. I appreciate everybody being here, hanging out with us. Okay, those are super chats I read. Okay, this is the new one, yes. So DM James says, the best you can do as a GM is buy your kids some old Lego spacemen and set them up in I thought this was going a different direction when he typed this. I thought it was going to be about a kitchen floor, but it didn't go that.
Not me.
What's that?
That's Bruce.
You said DM James. It's Bruce.
Yeah, Bruce gave the. Did I say DM James gave the super chat?
You did.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. Well, Bruce gave this. One of you guys, you look the same, right? Bald head and no beard versus hair and beard. I don't know. Bruce Lombardo of Dick's Division for $10. There we go. But you can do as a GM.
More handsome.
Is buy your kids. After his job, so a Lego spaceman and set them up in a Lego space shuttle. Then have them act like astronauts, a live-action Kerbal space program. And when they throw it up in the air and drop it on the floor and it breaks and they got to put it back together again, they can understand gravity. All right.
Do you get the impression Bruce doesn't get to interact a lot with humans in his new job?
That works. That works.
I think he's catching up for a lot of time that he has not been around here, and he's just making up for it right now. And I appreciate that, Bruce. Thank you. Then set it. Oh, here you go. Then set it up to launch, but create Gus Grissom's death and teach the kids about a TPK. Space should be dangerous and scary as hell. That's historically mean, dude. Okay, read that one. Bruce Lombardo again for $5. For tonight's finale, the panelists will enter the octagon with a giant pugil stick in the old American Gladiators television show Game On. All right, American Gladiators. I'm glad I'm down here in Alabama. God dang. Too hot.
Laser.
Law Dog already did that one, so we'll do Law Dog. He says, Beat Magnet, thanks again for scoring those Rifters for me. I remember you guys talking about that a couple weeks ago, so glad to see you got them. By the way, for the folks who may or may not be watching, somebody like Gaming with ADHD, I mailed out the packages today. Since neither person who won packages responded with an email, it was just whatever you put in the form. So it's literally mailed out to Gaming with ADHD, not who you really are.
Stupid Brian.
and then for $5, Law Dog on Rumble says, for some reason, Streamlabs won't let me donate, so here's some extra money toward the giveaway. Well, we're at 112 plus 25, so you do math on that, 127-ish dollars, so we will definitely have a giveaway, but that doesn't mean the super chats have to end. Remember, YouTube takes 30%, and if I'm doing a $100 giveaway, I got to make at least $130 to make up for that, right? Just saying. All right, let's get... So... Hope everybody is enjoying this topic so far. We are going to get into our last segment, which will be memorable campaigns and adventures. So hopefully they regale us with something, well, memorable and adventurous. But we'll see in just a moment here. So please like, subscribe, and share. And we'll talk to you in just a minute. Or tomorrow.